Aryna Sabalenka looked like she was about to finish the job comfortably in Cincinnati. Then, suddenly, the match became a test of nerve, patience, and survival. The world number one had not just one or two chances to close out Talia Gibson. She had 6, and somehow, Gibson kept refusing to go away. In the end, Sabalenka escaped in straight sets, but the 6-2, 7-6 victory tells a much more interesting story than the scoreline suggests. Sabalenka entered Cincinnati with plenty of pressure around her. She is the defending champion, she is ranked number 1 in the world, and the US Open is getting closer every day. After winning 3 titles this season, including Miami in March, she is still waiting for her first trophy since then. Against Gibson, the opening set looked almost routine. Sabalenka controlled the tempo, attacked with her trademark power, and made sure Gibson was constantly dealing with pressure. A 6-2 first set suggested that the top seed might be heading toward another straightforward victory. But tennis can change in minutes, especially when the conditions are difficult. The wind was swirling around grandstand court, making ball control harder and turning ordinary points into awkward battles. Gibson adjusted brilliantly in the second set. Instead of simply trying to absorb Sabalenka's power, the Australian became more aggressive. She stepped into rallies, attacked Sabalenka's service games, and started forcing the world number 1 to defend her advantage. Sabalenka reached 5 match points in the 12th game of the second set, and any one of them could have ended the contest. But Gibson saved every single one. 5 separate opportunities, 5 chances for the world number 1 to walk off court, and Gibson kept the match alive. Sabalenka, however, did something important. She stayed calm. The second set tiebreak became the escape route, and this time she did not let the opportunity disappear. Sabalenka dominated the breaker 7-2 and finally sealed the win with a winner. It was not perfect tennis, but it was mature tennis. On a difficult day, she found a way through. Afterward, Sabalenka admitted she was exhausted and called the weather crazy. She also gave Gibson credit for raising her level. The second set was not simply about Sabalenka struggling. Gibson earned her way back into the contest. Sabalenka needs matches like this before the US Open. She needs to learn how to win when conditions are uncomfortable, when an opponent refuses to panic, and when her own momentum disappears. Grand Slam champions are often remembered for spectacular performances, but deep runs are also built on ugly wins. Meanwhile, the other big names in Cincinnati were sending their own messages. Elena Rybakina, the Australian Open champion, continued her campaign with a composed 6-3, 6-4 victory over Taylor Townsend. The world number 2 is particularly interesting right now because she is moving closer to Sabalenka in the rankings. After reaching the final in Toronto against Iga Swiatek, Rybakina arrived in Cincinnati with a demanding workload behind her. Rybakina said recovery was a major focus after the tough Toronto run, which included several 3-set matches. Against Townsend, her serve gave her exactly the platform she needed. She described herself as happy with that part of her game, and the result reflected it. There was no unnecessary drama, just efficient tennis and a comfortable passage forward. Then came Mirra Andreeva, and her performance was even more emphatic. The Roland Garros champion dismantled Alexandra Oleynikova 6-1, 6-0. 5 breaks of serve, 7 saved break points, and only 1 game dropped. Andreeva looked completely in control, and her ability to combine aggression with composure is becoming one of the most intriguing stories on the women's tour. Iga Swiatek also continued her Cincinnati title defense with authority. The 7th seed, fresh from winning her first title of what had been a difficult season in Toronto, defeated Colombia's Emiliana Arango 6-3, 6-0. Swiatek did not merely finish the match. She took it away from her opponent. After the uncertainty of earlier months, the Toronto title may have restored some confidence, and Cincinnati gives her another opportunity to build momentum before New York. Coco Gauff had a tougher evening. The 4th seed dropped the opening set 6-2 against Ludmila Samsonova, but the American refused to let the match slip away. Gauff gradually found her rhythm, turned the pressure around, and won the final 5 games to complete a 2-6, 6-4, 6-1 comeback. Strong winds and a short rain delay interrupted the evening session, creating another layer of difficulty. Gauff's finish was impressive because she did not just survive. She accelerated when it mattered most. For Ben Shelton, however, the night ended in disappointment. Fresh from his breakthrough Masters triumph in Montreal, Shelton was sent out by Portugal's Jaime Faria, ranked 79th in the world. Faria won 6-4, 6-4, producing his first victory over a top 10 opponent. Faria described the moment as emotional, and understandably so. These are the wins that can change a player's belief. On the men's side, Felix Auger-Aliassime also delivered an important result, playing his first match since losing a 5-set Wimbledon quarterfinal to Novak Djokovic. The second seed defeated Stefanos Tsitsipas 6-3, 7-5. Against Tsitsipas, the answer looked encouraging. He played aggressively, moved well, and finished the match in 88 minutes. He was happy to return with a win after his recent absence. Daniil Medvedev also moved through, defeating Marco Trungelliti 6-4, 7-5 in a controlled performance. Taylor Fritz had a more emotional start, smashing a racket only 5 minutes into his match against Alex Michelsen. Yet he recovered his composure and won 6-3, 6-4. And that may be the biggest theme coming out of Cincinnati: surviving the chaos. And that is exactly why this tournament matters. The players are not only chasing wins, they are testing whether their games and minds can withstand Grand Slam pressure together. Sabalenka survived 6 match points. Gauff survived a first-set collapse. Faria produced the biggest win of his career. Rybakina managed her recovery. Auger-Aliassime returned with confidence. And Swiatek and Andreeva looked ruthless. The US Open is approaching, and every one of these players is trying to find something different. Confidence, fitness, rhythm, belief, or simply proof that their game is ready. For Sabalenka, the question is especially fascinating. Can a difficult escape like this become the foundation for another deep Cincinnati run and, eventually, a breakthrough at the US Open? That is the storyline worth watching. Because sometimes the matches that tell you the most about a champion are not the easy ones. They are the matches where everything starts slipping, the opponent keeps fighting, and the pressure becomes enormous. Sabalenka had 6 match points. She needed all 6 opportunities to survive the moment. And now Cincinnati has given the world number 1 something every champion needs before a Grand Slam: a victory she had to earn the hard way.